On today's episode of the Wounded Warriors in Action podcast, WWIA founder and CEO John McDaniel sits down with one of WWIA's outstanding friends and partners, Mr. Wade Seaburg, Director of Business Development and Sales for Dragonfly Energy. John and Wade discuss how the partnership between Dragonfly Energy and WWIA came to fruition, how Dragonfly Energy is innovating and leading the charge in energy storage and renewable energy, and why they feel compelled to support the mission of WWIA. Let's join John and Wade now.
Okay, my name is John McDaniel, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Wounded Warriors in Action Foundation, and this is our podcast. And I am just so excited today because I've got a good friend of mine who also happens to be a very successful businessman working for a very successful company. And that company is Battleborn Batteries and Dragonfly Energy. And my guest today is Wade Seaburg. Wade, how you doing?
Great, John. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's a pleasure. We spent part of the morning over at MacDill Air Force Base looking at the Airstream trailer that you guys helped us retrofit. And so we got a lots to talk about today. And then on Saturday, we're going fishing. I
know. I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah. Absolutely. No.
It's gonna be great. Well, anyway, I wanted to do this because Dragonfly and Battleborn Batteries has done a lot for the foundation, and especially at Camp Hackett. And we're going to talk about Camp Hackett here in a little bit. But I want to just lateral the ball over to you and ask you to explain to our audience a little bit about the partnership between Battleborn, Dragonfly Energy, and the Wounded Warriors in Action.
No problem. But before I go there, I want to thank John for his service to our country. He will try to deflect that, but that's important for us. That's how we got involved together. And I will go from there to answer his question now.
It was my honor, right?
Yep, absolutely.
To do that. Thanks very much.
So Battleborn Batteries and Dragonfly Energy, how we got involved with Wounded Warrior in Action Foundation. So Sean Nichols, who's our COO, came to me and said, "Hey, we need to put some new marketing push, right? And we really want it to be impactful, but I don't really care if we sell any batteries from it. But we need to do something that's really going to reflect on the communities that we serve with our batteries already, right? And a huge demographic for our end markets that we operate in today includes veterans. And so I was thinking about it, and he kind of challenged me to handle this project. So I was up one night thinking about it, and I remembered a classmate of mine from high school, Gabe Fieros. And I grew up in a small town, northern Illinois, Marengo, Illinois, where I graduated with 150 kids in my graduating class, real tight-knit community. And Gabe went off and served right out of high school. And I remember we were connected on LinkedIn, and I hadn't talked to him in 20 plus years, right? We were connected on LinkedIn, and I remember that Gabe's part of this organization called Wounded Warriors in Action. And I really like what they do, right? So I went to your landing page and read more about the organization before reaching out to Gabe, and then reached out to him and said, "Hey, here's what I'm thinking. I want to get involved. Our company wants to get involved. We've got a lot we can give. We think on the surface, there's probably more there once we start to peel that onion back." And so he reached out with his cell phone number, and we connected, and we talked about, caught up on 20 years, right? Where we're at in life, right? Kids and everything. And it was awesome to reconnect with him. But he put me in touch with Nicole, and he said, "Now, I'm going to warn you, John's a no-nonsense guy. Like, you've got to have all your ducks in a row if you're coming to him with a mission, and you want to participate in this." And I said, "No problem, but I can handle that." And I didn't even know about Camp Hackett at the time. Yeah, right? I just knew about your organization, and so we started talking. I think our first conference call, I don't even know when it was, but sometime in the spring of last year. And you've told us about Camp Hackett. You told us about the project that you do, the missions that you perform up there, and the healing center that is Camp Hackett, and mentioned that you were looking at solar and that you were looking at putting batteries in order to take that camp off grid. Because right now, even just to turn a light on, you had to start a generator.
You had to start, an 8 kW generator.
You had that roar just in the background, right? Constant presence. And we jumped all in, right? With both feet.
Yeah. So let me grab the football for a second.
Absolutely.
So doing some backside here, just filling in the gaps. Gabe Fieros, a combat wounded veteran with a Purple Heart. You went to high school with him.
Yeah.
He's part of my guide staff. He's been through our guide school. He's out there leading heroes in the field. I first met Gabe probably, I would say 12 years ago. We were on a mission in Skagit, Washington, of all things, this great state of Washington. We were on a salmon fishing event, and I met Gabe then, and I just immediately gravitated towards him, just mostly because of his demeanor. Mm-hmm. He's
real
quiet, calm. Yeah, it's just perfect for my personality. He and I just hit it off immediately, and he's a very confident and capable man. So he and I became, friends, and then I involved him more and more in the foundation. So, when I heard that, that Battleborn Batteries were interested in chatting with me, and there was a Gabe Fieros connection there, I was like, absolutely, and for those that don't know the backside story, you guys, I like to say, you guys came in there like a Ranger company, like a Ranger rifle company under the cover of darkness. This is a true story. Okay. I mean, you were there.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't. All right. You guys came and did a site survey, and then you said to me, hey, this is a remote site in the middle of northern Wisconsin, literally in no man's land, a large parcel of property surrounded by other large parcels where, the dominant species is not man, is the timber wolf.
Yeah.
And the black bear, and so, you did a site survey, and then you said to me, well, we're going to come back at a later date, so hide some keys so we can get into this camp, and we're going to outfit your entire camp with solar power and these great lithium-ion batteries. Yeah. And we'll talk some specifics on these batteries here in just a little bit. But so anyway, what happens is you guys show up, and kind of coordinate. Hey, we're going to be here on this time frame, and a team of your guys come in the middle during the daylight hours, but work throughout the night. And I get these videos the next day of hey, go into the shed, flip the lights on, everything is working, the battery system's installed, and then you disappear. Just like a good Ranger company.
Now, hold on. We did make it back to Wausau in time before the last bar closed, so that we could have a cheeseburger and a beer, right?
Which is even more impressive, because Wausau is an hour and a half away from our camp, right? So anyway, just hit the wave tops on what you did for Camp Hackett, because I got to tell you, and it changed our world out there. It really, really did. Awesome. And they did this. This was all done. You're a 5-star sponsor. That's the other thing I heard before. I'll interrupt a little bit here, but before you guys even showed up, I heard from Nicole, my assistant, that you guys were wanting to be a 5-star sponsor. And I said, they actually read the website and understand what that means? She goes, oh yeah. And I said, okay, and in the military, we talk about selling wolf tickets, wolf tickets. Like this is, a lot of people write checks with their mouth that their butt can't cash, right? Well, you guys cashed your check like immediately. And so tell us about what happens when the team gets, to Camp Hackett, briefly, and what you all did there.
Yeah. So we did the site survey, right? None of this is possible, right? So I had to recruit some help.
Yeah.
I go and recruit my older brother, right, Ryan. And, he
great man, by the way.
Yeah, great man. Learn a lot from him all the time, right? He's I always say he's the one with the most wisdom. Anyways, and he's like, I got just the guy to help us, right? So he recruits a master electrician, Bob Harper.
Great.
Yeah. So the three of us and another gentleman run up to Camp Hackett. We do the site inspection. We come back up, I don't know, maybe 6-8 weeks later, in the middle of July. It was hot.
How really special were the deer flies and the mosquitoes?
Yeah, once that sun goes down, they're not messing around, right? You gotta get the hell
the
out
sign
of there.
ought to say, not for the weak nor faint of heart.
That's right. That's right.
Brutal.
So at Camp Hackett, there's a main bunkhouse where most of the action goes on. It's where the heroes sleep. It's where they make their meals. It's where they hang out if it's cold, right? And there's a couple of outbuildings. And we get up there and we're like, what do you want to do? And John says, well, I want to make this generator irrelevant. And I said, okay, we can do that. But if you had a wish list, what's your wish list? Well, I'd love to have, I said, do you want power in those outbuildings?
Just flip on a light switch in the tack shack. So, or in the vehicle shack, right?
Because you're waking up at 4 a.m. when it's dark out in order to prep gear and get ready for the hunt. And, I'd love to have lights out there. But man, you could put outlets out there to charge batteries or, power tools or whatever, cameras and things like that. Sure, no problem. Want to move the power for the Airstream, right, that you have.
Okay.
We want to move power to a different location.
Yep.
It's a little bit more convenient. No problem. So we get up there and we trailer a trencher up there that Bob has, right? And all the
so it's a trencher. Tell us why we need a trencher.
Well, we need a trencher because we're burying cable from the power source, which is the batteries, and we got a trench for the solar cables underground. We got a trench over to the outbuildings. We got a trench to the new pole for the Airstream power. And so we bring this trencher up, and little do we know that like John's property up there, the foundation's property up there, it sits on top of some of the rockiest soil.
Yeah, the glaciers. Right? Yeah, the glaciers, when they receded, they brought a lot of granite with them.
Right.
Yeah. Lots of granite boulders underneath the surface.
When you're not ready for that, your trencher is a workout.
Yes.
To manage that thing when the rocks get stuck in it. But we managed through that, and I had Bob Harper handle all the 110 volt equipment, and my job was the low voltage side, the batteries, and how we're gonna invert that power to 110 volts, and then directing the guys that partnered up with us to do the solar array. And now when you go up to Camp Hackett, 100% of it is completely off the grid. We did tie the generator into there's no reason to take that and throw it away. It was a perfectly fine generator. So if there's, no sun for a long period of time, you're able to fire that generator up and juice the batteries and move on and then turn it off. Right. But great experience to the heroes is that now when they leave camp, like they don't hear the roar of the generator in the back of their head. Now when you guys wake up in the morning and are preparing gear, you don't have to wake up the entire camp, right, in order to have lights. You can operate in the tranquility that the North Woods gives you. You don't kill that. So it was a fun project. It was a lot of freaking work.
Why'd you do it? It was, but here's the thing. I mean, it still blows me away. I mean, it blows me away that now because the foundation's had that property since 2007 when we started. So it's the original mission set for the foundation. It's our northernmost healing center. It's where everything started and branched off from, if you will. So there's lots of other models that we employ throughout the country today in 35 different mission sets, but that's the original one. And so here's my question: why? Why'd you do that? That's what I want to know. I mean, the foundation hadn't paid for any of this. And oh, by the way, you also stroked a couple of big checks for the foundation. Okay. And, which, and no strings attached, no nothing, just keep doing what you're doing. So I got to ask, why?
John, without the service that you did for 20 years and without the service of all of our veteran community, nothing that we do is possible. Not any of it. And so for me to have the ability to be able to give back, and, the rest of the guys that I took up there are of the same mindset.
Absolutely.
And to be able to put that group together and be able to give back to where we feel like we're actually contributing to a greater cause is, I mean, it's so enriching and fulfilling to me. I mean, I feel a little selfish, right? Because I was able to experience that and give that back, and other people weren't, right? I mean, yeah, it's a sense of duty, a sense of service that I wasn't able to have, but I felt like I'm a part of, right? And that's it. I mean, I have there's a lot of veterans in my life who, whether it's my grandfather who fought in World War II or my cousin who fought in the first Gulf War, or whatever whoever it is in your life, you want to be able to do something that, respects them and honors them. And that was why. That was the why for me anyways.
Well, it's funny because when I met this amazing team, which was during the site survey, I just felt nothing but heart, man. I mean, these are men that have huge hearts, that are in it to win it, that want to make a difference, and are putting their money where their mouth is, literally, and creating massive impact, right? And that's huge. And I think I said earlier when we were filming a bit this summer, that when my energy is focused on systems, like keeping the camp running, which somebody's got to do, when my attention is on things that are broken or aren't working or need to have energy applied to them, then it's not where it needs to be, which is on the heroes. Yeah. And so you guys have just changed our life up there. And I want to, go on record again as saying, thank you to Ryan, to Bob, to you, to Dennis, to everybody, Sean, in the entire value chain of Battleborn Batteries and Dragonfly for helping make that happen. And so let me just segue into real quick a couple of things. One, you are the director of business development, and we share that in common as BD. I'm still a business developer. That's what I do, right? But I do it in a different place,
right?
But was formerly trained as a business developer and that's a fancy way of saying salesman, sort of, kinda. But guess what? You got to be a salesman. Yeah. Like if you're not a salesman, you probably didn't cut your teeth right? I mean, we're all sort of salesmen. But you're the director of business development and outside sales for Dragonfly Energy, right? And Battleborn's a subsidiary of that. Would you tell us a little bit about that relationship so everybody can understand? Because I kind of use the two interchangeably, right. But give us a few minutes on that distinction between Battleborn Batteries and the parent Dragonfly.
Yeah, no problem. So Dragonfly Energy is a technology company headquartered in Reno, Nevada. Started about 7 years ago by Dennis Ferris and Sean Nichols. They're the co-founders of the company. Battleborn Batteries is our direct-to-consumer brand. So that's the brand of batteries. And Battleborn, where we get asked this a lot, where to get its name, where'd you get that? That's the state motto of the state of Nevada, right? They were the Battleborn state. Came out of the Civil War. They were the Battleborn state. And Battleborn Batteries is our flagship brand. It's our direct-to-consumer brand that we sell all day long, every single day. We are answering phone calls. We are answering emails. We are taking online orders. We're selling it through a couple of distributors. That brand of batteries serves our RV, marine, off-grid, our regular, everyday customer.
What kind of batteries?
These are lithium. Yep, all of our batteries. Yep, we only make lithium-ion batteries, and specifically, we make lithium iron phosphate. That's the chemistry that we make. Okay. Which, if you look at the lithium, the scale, it's the most stable. It's on the most stable end of that lithium arena, right? Whatever you want to say, right? It's not an EV battery. It is being adopted in some EV platforms now because of how readily available it is, and because lithium iron and phosphate are, materials that are readily available. They are not conflict minerals, not like cobalt and nickel and some of the other materials that are used in traditional EV batteries that the car companies are.
When you say EV batteries,
electric vehicle. Yeah, electric. So the Teslas, the Fords, the GMs,
that's not what you're doing.
That's not what we're doing.
Why? Why aren't you doing that?
Yeah,
but tell me about. Tell us about. Why are these batteries? Why are your lithium-ion batteries so well suited to do something like Camp Hackett? Or why are you? Look at where are these battle-born batteries? Who's your consumers? Okay, lots of RVs, lots of boats, lots of trolling motors. But why?
Storage. That's why.
What do you mean by storage?
I mean, we're not being asked to move a car from 0 to 60 in under a certain amount of seconds, and we're not being asked to go on a range from 300 miles to 600 miles on a single charge and to recharge in 15 minutes. What we're asking our batteries to do is charge over a long period of time that solar is going to provide to you. That if you're grid tied and it's a standby power system, or like an RV where you're going to be temporarily off grid, be able to store over a long period of time. So your charge rate is less, right? But you demand thousands and thousands of repeatable charge cycles. Like we're talking 3,000 to 5,000 charge cycles. Our batteries all come with a 10-year warranty. It's wow. For a lot of people, it's the last battery they'll buy for that application. So that's lithium iron phosphate is so well suited for that. It's not the primary choice that you would have for an electric vehicle. It is the primary battery that you would choose for off-grid storage, or even for grid tie storage. That way you want the most stable platform for that delivery.
Mm-hmm. And some of the taglines, I've learned some of your taglines are really, really interesting. Like, for example, lead is dead, right?
Yeah, so that's a great one.
Yeah, the other one is get outside, stay outside.
Yeah,
is
get
that
out
right?
there, stay out there.
Get out there, stay out. Tell us about some of the taglines and their meaning, because they're short and sweet, but they've got something behind them.
Sure. So our biggest competitor is lead acid batteries. We make no bones about it. That's who we're trying to displace.
What you find in cars.
Yeah. What you find in a car. That's your cranking battery, right? That's going to start your engine. That's a lead acid battery, and that's a decent application for a lead acid battery. But that's about one of the few applications that lead acid.
But they're dangerous too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you charge a lead acid battery too fast, or you charge it in a ambient condition, whether it's too hot out or too cold out, it's bad for that battery, and it'll boil it, right? And people have taken lead acid batteries out of their rigs, their RVs, and put them, outside and watched them smoke, right? And they off gas. That's the main problem with them, is that they expel gases that are noxious and dangerous and can kill people, quite honestly.
You couldn't have put those in our bunkhouse.
No, not at all.
So we got these lithium-ion batteries inside of the bunkhouse that are kept warm when the bunkhouse is fired up, but they're emitting no toxic
gases at all.
No
they're
gases.
Completely safe. Great application for those batteries. And so lead is dead is the tagline, because we really feel that lead acid batteries are over. You've seen lots of businesses make that shift, and lithium will continue to evolve, but lead acid's not really evolving, right? It's lead and acid, and you've got the choice to put lead and acid in someplace. You're not going to do it. It's dangerous on all levels, and so that's that tagline, right? Lead is dead, and then get out there, stay out there. We love that one because what we're doing is exactly that. We're providing people the ability to get out where they want to be and to be able to stay out there, right? It's gotten to the point now that water is your limiting condition, right? It's no longer that power and energy are your limiting factors of being out there and staying out there. It really is that water is that limiting factor, and people are able to moderate that, and they understand that going in. The other one that I like to say is that we're a cure for battery anxiety, right?
Because if you're a sportsman, or not even, I suppose, but I'll tell you, I have a boat, and I've got RVs, all these things that I do that help enable our mission set, and I would be lying if I said they're there aren't times frequently when I, go out to start my boat, praying, that it's going to crank, and so when you said, battery anxiety, I'm like, yeah, I can identify with that. I've had that, and I reckon a lot of people have.
Yeah, that resonates with everybody, and we got professional anglers that we sponsor that are putting our batteries in their boats to go out and win competitive tournaments, and they're shallow water fishing in and out of the docks for the entire day, running that trolling motor and trying to make sure that they win that tournament. And before lithium batteries, they would have to start the main engine in order to provide some juice to those through the alternator to keep them charged. Now, I don't have to do that.
Right. And if you're trying to be quiet out there in the water and sneak up on a bass, having your 300 Merc, cranking in the background, that doesn't help your cause too much.
Yeah, absolutely. And anybody that's got a cell phone understands battery anxiety too, right? Constantly, people are carrying around battery packs with them now.
You got to figure out how to miniaturize this thing and get it every cell phone.
Oh, yeah. We'll get there.
Okay, so I understand, we were chatting this morning, that you guys, that Battleborn and Dragonfly are entering into a very important partnership, right? And so tell us about this newly formed or forming partnership that you've got with Keystone.
Well, it's been going on for a few years now.
Okay,
but we just we grew the partnership. So for the last 2.5 years, we've been engaged with Keystone RV. A little bit about Keystone. They're a subsidiary of Thor Industries. Okay. Thor Industries is the largest RV manufacturer in the world. They also own Heimer Group, which represents them into the European markets. Airstream is a part of their family of products. Thor Motor Coach, Keystone RV, a number of others are all a part of their portfolio. Keystone, about 2.5 years ago, we worked with their Montana brand to bring out what we called the Super Solar Flex system. And that included 2 of our 270 amp hour batteries, which we term our GC3. Those batteries, so 540 amp hours on board, right? That was a system that nobody had ever used on a fifth wheel before. That nobody had put that in, except for maybe DIY do-it-yourself application where they were trying to rig out their own system, but a mainline manufacturer had never done it. And we proved through that system that the market was ready for this. And what was it? In December, we inked the deal. We just kind of brought it to the public last week. Keystone RV is now the exclusive distributor and supplier, dealer, whatever you want to call it, of Dragonfly Energy batteries. Dragonfly Energy batteries are only sold to the OEM. We do not sell those products online. Okay. We do not sell those products to the general public.
Versus like retail, which is
versus our Battleborn batteries.
Okay.
Yeah, so our Battleborn batteries are available to the retail public. There's a lot of crossover products that are dual branded, right? Dragonfly Energy and Battleborn. We will be launching future products that will probably only be really suitable for an OEM application. But Dragonfly Energy will never be sold online. Those batteries and future products will be sold exclusively to original equipment manufacturers, and that's what we mean when we say it.
Okay, excellent.
And what's really impactful of this deal that we put together, this partnership, and that truly is what it is, because Keystone's an incredible partner. Their engineering group is second to none. They have an innovation lab. But what's really powerful for this is that now their 1,200 brick and mortar dealerships have access to our technology and our batteries. And we're really excited to be able to work with those dealers, be able to help them understand how we're different than lead acid batteries. We're an American company. We're not just brokering batteries from overseas. I got 15 associates that are, answering phone calls and emails every day. And as I like to say, on the other side of that wall, there's 100 people building batteries and engineering batteries and doing the quality control on the battery and doing all the steps that you would expect from a mainline American manufacturer. We can't say that they're manufactured in America, right? They're fully built, designed, and assembled in America. our cells still come from overseas, right? That's where everybody gets their lithium iron phosphate cells. But they're the third-party tested. All of our batteries are UL listed to validate the safety of the battery. I feel fortunate to be involved with the company. Quite honestly, it's a machine now that had a really great beginning. I think we'll probably get into that, but yeah, it was. Anyways, that's the difference, and that's the partnership that Keystone RV and I'm down here in sunny Florida right now because we're launching this at the RV Super Show in Tampa, and we're taking orders.
A lot of orders right now.
It's happening right now. Yeah, these RV companies, the RV industry is going through a lot of growth right now. They're building 600,000 new RVs every single year.
Yeah, the pandemic had something to do with that for sure, right? I mean,
that's put a lot of stress on the infrastructure, right? There's no place to camp. The campgrounds are full. The state parks are full. The national parks are full. Where are you going to go? And how are you going to power that lifestyle?
Right. So tell us about the growth of the company. I know you guys have got some big plans.
Yeah.
Tell us, give us a snapshot, move into the future a little bit and tell us, what does Dragonfly look like and Battleborn look like, in 5 years' time, 10 years' time? What's the thought?
We're a global provider of energy storage cells, solid state cells to, integrators, original equipment manufacturers, folks that are interested in levelizing the cost of renewables to the point that they're the same as coal. And we can provide that buffer, which is what renewables really need in order to be economical and compete with the cost of coal. Then we'll be able to deliver solid state power to the masses, right? So the deep freeze that you saw happen down in Texas, right? The utility grid was taken completely down because the renewables didn't have that buffer in there, right? If every house in Texas in their garage has a completely non-flammable battery, that doesn't happen. Right? Take that burden off of them, and we become energy independent. But we're going to build them here in America. We're going to build the cells here in the States. It's going to be it's a big mission, right? We're on there's a lot of work that has to go into it, but we started with 4 or 5 people building batteries out of a garage and 6-7 years ago, and we've experienced just phenomenal growth up till now, and and that's all been on the Battleborn side, and the whole Dragonfly side has been kind of just a little quiet. We had such growth on the Battleborn side that we had to dedicate a lot of resources to making sure that was sustainable, right? We had to put sourcing mechanisms into place, put manufacturing, automate that structure so that it was repeatable and it could grow. And now we're able to spend a little bit of time and really dive in on the Dragonfly end of things. That's what I was excited about to do this podcast and get that message out there. We're changing the game.
Well, speaking of shifting, you're a dad.
Yeah.
You're a football coach, and now you're leading the outside sales and business development for these for Dragonfly and Battleborn. So here's my question to you, right? We were talking leadership on the way over, and people that have impacted your life, and your company's growing, just talk to me a little bit about the transferable skill sets of being a dad, a coach, and a leader in a business, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you're a role model for a lot of people, and as you're growing, as we were talking in the truck, as your company grows, your focus is going to be more, like it or not, more on leading people, and systems, versus the, hey, follow me sort of thing. So there's a lot of coaching that goes on, not only as a dad, but, as a coach, but also in your business. So So talk to us about those three important parts of your life and how they are going to help your company grow.
Yeah, so it all goes back to relationships, right? You have to have a relationship with your children. You have to have a relationship with your spouse. You have to have a relationship with your players that you're coaching. You have to have a relationship with your customers. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to move the football down the field. You're not going to be able to move and accomplish the sales growth objectives that we have if you don't spend the time investing in the team that we're building here at Dragonfly Energy. And there's so many crossovers and parallels to I mean, we were driving one day and we were just talking about, okay, if our leadership team, right, who's the quarterback, who's the coach? I like to say that I'm the perfect offensive guard, right? Because I don't take a lot of the glory, nor do I necessarily deserve it, but we're all a critical role in this machine, and it's fun but I get a ring too, right?
That's right.
When we win a championship, I get a ring as well. So
who's the quarterback?
I think Dennis is the coach and that Sean's the quarterback.
Yeah. Sean's. I spent some time with Sean at Camp Hack. I'll tell a Sean story. And I'll ask you to dig in there a little bit because I just think he's a phenomenal individual and the right person to be quarterback in this effort. His leadership style I like. Immediately looked at him as somebody that I could learn from and admire. But you guys showed up at Camp Hackett this fall when the Heroes were there, and Wisconsin, as you know, can be an unforgiving place. I think he had driven all the way from Reno, spent 2 days in this is my picture. Maybe I'm getting it wrong, but he shows up and it was very early in the morning.
We had to be there for 5:30 hunt?
Yeah, we had a 5:30. We had a goose and duck hunt that was kicking off at 5:30, and you guys rocked up at 4:30, and Jake is knocking on the on my door, going, "Hey, they're here," and I'm like, "Well, struggling," and I'm just looking at my watch. I'm like, "It's 3:30 in the morning, and they're here." Awesome. So, we go out, kill a bunch of ducks and geese. It was great and all this, and Sean and I stayed in camp and got to know each other, and you and the film crew and the Heroes went out and did your thing in the field, which was awesome. And I remember, Sean, kind of looking at me. He's like, "Dude, I need to, I've been driving all night. I just need a couple hours of rack, and I'm just going to go get in the back of the rental car and catch some Z's." And I'm like, "Nah, man, don't do that. You freeze to death out there. There's an Airstream right there, man.
Just turn the heater on.
Turn the heater on and go back out, man." And he's like, "Really?" I go, "Yeah." And so he did that, and he came back all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and you guys hadn't got back from the hunt yet, and we spent some time in the bunkhouse together, getting to know each other. And I think he did is just doing a phenomenal job. As you say, quarterback and the effort. It's interesting. When we look at bosses, right? I mean, we're working for somebody. It's Even I work for, I like to think I work for people. I work for the Heroes. I work for the hosts. I work for the supporters that help the foundation. I have lots of bosses. I don't have somebody telling me what to do every day,
right,
but I have bosses, right? We all do. But just tell me about Sean's leadership style and what he does as a quarterback that's moving this company forward. And Dennis, too.
Absolutely.
I have not met Dennis yet. I hope to someday, but tell us about the leadership of the team.
So I like to say that Sean's style is similar to what I tell our little football players, right? Work hard and be a good teammate. And that encompasses a lot of things, right? But if you work hard and you're a good teammate, you're going to shine in the organization that Dennis and Sean have built. He enables you to be able to perform. He plants seeds of really great ideas and lets you water them and nourish them and grow them into your own. And then he provides all the support that you could ever ask for in order to be successful. And that, to me, I'm learning a ton from those guys because I'm going to have to lead a team of people, and we're putting that team together right now. And it's, okay, how do we put the right personalities in place, and what do I need to bring to them in order to round out their experience and have that be a very successful and fruitful one for the company, as well as enriching one for them professionally. So that, I would say Sean allows you to do that in an environment that, it's intense at times, right? All businesses, games are intense. You have fourth down and goal oftentimes in a game, right? But it's how you handle that intensity, whether you win or fail at it, right? We failed multiple times in launching our business, not in launching the business, but we did something that we were asking RV OEMs, right? Original equipment manufacturers who they ship trailers to dealerships without batteries.
Oh yeah.
All right. We were going to ask them to do something that they've never done before. You don't know how many meetings I went out with. I felt like Will Smith from what's that movie? Pursuit of Happiness, right? He's got those computers, those X-ray machines that he's trying to sell, and his wife's on his case about getting them out of the house because you got to go sell these so we can make the rent check and pay the bills, right? We felt that a little bit like that on the OEM side because I was having batteries kind of pile up as samples in my garage, and my wife, Tara, is saying, "Get these things out of here so I can park my car, would you?" And we eventually, you keep hammering on it. Keep that persistence, you keep getting encouragement from your leadership that, hey, you're doing a great job. Like, keep it up. It'll hit. Don't worry. Just go to the next one. Go to the next one. And you keep that mindset, that positive mindset. And that's what Sean and Dennis were able to provide is just that backup. And I think that like from a leadership perspective, that's everything.
Yeah. As a former BD guy, I'll tell you, I learned from some great coaches and bosses, in BD in that arena. You got to give the BD guys a lot of leash, and you got to be patient, because if you're expecting them to pull a rabbit out of the hat in week 1, it's not going to happen. It's probably not going to happen in week 2. Some of these things are, like you said, relationships, right? Yeah. It takes time to develop relationships, and so.
Now keep in mind, we're trying to sell batteries to a marketplace that at the same time we're trying to sell them lithium-ion batteries. You got airplanes with lithium-ion batteries that like starting on fire in people's pockets, right? Cell phone batteries that they're blaming it on lithium, or Dell has a scare with lithium. And so there's a lot of things that are up against you,
right?
And you overcome those, right, through education. And that was what we tried to do, was just be the expert for people when they were ready, right, on their journey. That they would call us to advise them on the most successful path. Didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
that was.
Well, I was just making the point that I remember some of the best bosses I've ever had have given me it's like going back to the football analogy. Just give me the football and a wide open field to run. Because if you don't give me that kind of leash, then I'm just not going to be as effective as I would. And you have to have patience. You have to exercise a little strategic patience with some of your the people that are working for you, because nothing's easy. Nothing takes 5 minutes.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It's just the way that it is. Well, excellent. Well, let me just ask you, in closing up here in a little bit, like, what are some of the biggest challenges that you think the company faces? Moving forward here. What are some of the roadblocks that you think are in your way, and how are you going to overcome them, or how are you overcoming? You mentioned one, the stigma of phones, burning holes in people's pocket. But what are some of the challenges that you see on the horizon for the company?
Yeah, so some of those challenges have to do with what the whole world's fighting right now, right? Which is skilled labor. Right.
Yeah.
Fighting that challenge. Also fighting supply chain challenges.
Yeah.
So those all come into it. We're managing those. We haven't missed any shipments or anything like that. We got plenty of supply. We're enacting automation into our facility, putting that in place in order to handle that skilled labor side. Use do more with the skilled labor that we have, rather than just trying to throw labor at a problem. Let's take the people that we have, let's train them, let's teach them how to run these robots and this automation. And so those are challenges on the business side of things. To have this be a little bit more personal. I mean, there's challenges, in managing that work-life balance for everybody as well. The growth of the company is putting us all in a position that we've got to dedicate a lot more time to the company and to the goals and initiatives that we have, and it's getting the people that are near and dear to us to be on board with that mission as well, right? So we're asking those people to sacrifice a lot, and so it's managing that side of it. And then I would say, the personnel side and building that team, it really is. It's coming back to we're putting a lot of people in place. We've got a training event in a couple of weeks that, we've got so many new directors and things like that. I think I was telling you a little bit that we got to break down some of those walls of communication that we just put up, because some of us are remote, and so we're gonna plow right through those walls, and we're gonna make this team a well-oiled machine. And product innovation is always a challenge. It's easy to keep making the product that we're making, right, on a repeated basis. Once we nail it down, once you know the recipe, right, you can continue to make great chili.
That's right. Business, they say, is all about the successful, repeatable process, right? And that's what you're looking for. Well, I've got two more for you.
Sure.
Before we wind up here, first, I'm always interested in learning about the culture, okay, of an organization. And so, it's I look at the foundation. I say, okay, what's the culture? Well, I have an answer, okay, but my answer is maybe is important, maybe it's not. My perception of it is one thing. If you really want to know the culture of the foundation, then you probably need to go out and talk to the people who are, in the next outer ring or the outer rings, that have a perspective on it. And so, from your foxhole, if you will, how would you describe the culture of the organization that, talk to me about that?
Yeah. So our culture is one that I would say, we are constantly trying to give back to the communities that give us so much, right? Whether that's the marine community, the RV community, and participating in efforts there. But our culture is giving back a lot, and whether that's everything from I don't get too rosy here, but our planet that we have, right? Let's give back a little bit, right? Let's make this a sustainable world for all of us.
Clean energy.
Yeah, clean energy. Absolutely. We're gonna tell Dennis all the time, man. Like, hey, your technology, right? And change the freaking world. We're gonna change the landscape of how utility companies operate. We're gonna change the landscape of how people view their subdivision, right? How people are able to take a 1,000-acre parcel and be able to put a house out where nobody thought they could. Now they're real. But culture is, we're developing the culture, right? As we speak, like there's culture, and then there's tradition, right? And they're both a little bit different, but they tie to each other. And so our tradition of a positive customer experience, and that is first and foremost in our minds as we go about our daily lives. We take phone calls, but my customers are some of the first people that I call back after my family, and that's important to us to make sure that customer experience is a great one, not just a positive one, right? We want it to be a great experience. I tell people all the time, like, call our sales office. It's a delightful experience. Trust me. Like, you're not going to get a hard sell. Like, it's a delightful experience.
Well,
I don't know if that wraps it up in a little, one sentence, but there's a lot to culture.
Absolutely. Lots of layers.
Yeah.
I mean, just piggybacking off that the one or two times that I've I've wanted to understand more about the system that you installed at Camp Hackett. Every time that I've called, whether that, chatting with Bob or you or one of your inside technical folks, it's always been, like you said, super educational and excellent. Mm-hmm. The customer service has just been absolutely excellent. And you'd have thought that you'd have treated it like a fire and forget missile. We did that, we're out of here. No. And I'm not even a paying customer, for God's sakes. You're paying me. I mean, that's just ridiculous. But anyway, it's just phenomenal. Okay, so how do folks find you? How do they Hey, I have an RV, I got a boat. I mean, how do I get a Battleborn battery? What are my steps?
Yeah, battlebornbatteries.com, info@battlebornbatteries.com. You can call us, go to the website, find the number. I don't have it memorized by heart. But yeah, you can we're direct to consumer for our Battleborn batteries. We sell through dealerships as well. There's a few dealerships that carry Battleborn batteries. There's a few distributors out there that we have. You just Google lithium-ion batteries. Typically, Dragonfly or Battleborn are the number one. That's a credit to our marketing staff and what they've been able to put in place. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the customer, and just look at our customer reviews. Look at the experience, and don't look at them we don't post reviews really on our website. But if you look at third-party independent, you're going to find that we're the best battery for the application of deep cycle storage to replace lead acid.
Excellent. Boy, I was in the military. We say any saved rounds. Does anybody save any rounds? You got any rounds in your bandolier or your magazine that you'd like to expend? Because this would be your opportunity to do it, Wade.
I'm honored to be down here and be a part of your podcast, be a part of your organization. Really am honored about it, and our company is too. So from Dragonfly Energy to Wounded Warriors, thank you.
Well, we thank you. I mean, it's just an amazing thing that you've done. To our heroes and I salute you. Camp Hackett is very happy now, and it's just an amazing thing that you've done, and we're proud to be part of the partnership as well. And our solemn promise is that we will make you proud. And you certainly have made us proud, and I thank you for your time. And best of luck at the RV show. And it closes up here. In a couple of days? It
runs through Sunday. We have a booth. This will come out probably after the show, but so I won't necessarily give the booth location. But and I would encourage everybody, if they're interested in our batteries, they go to their local Keystone dealer and ask them, hey, I want some Dragonfly Energy batteries for my RV or my boat or whatever the application is. And then lastly, can't wait to go fishing Saturday.
Yeah, we're gonna be out there with tight lines. I mean, there's a front coming, but hey, what the heck? I mean, that's any day on the water is a better day at work, and if your work is being on the water, then you're blessed, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll have a great time. Anyway, thank you very much for your time. John. And we'll see you out there on Saturday.
Let's get out there and stay out there.
All right, good.
See ya.
Thanks.
To learn more about the mission of the Wounded Warriors in Action Foundation and how you can get involved, please visit our website at wwiaf.org or follow our social media pages on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Thank you for listening to the WWIA podcast and for helping us honor, connect, and heal our combat wounded Purple Heart heroes through the power of the great outdoors.
If you like what you're listening to here and would like to join our team in our mission to bring healing power and recovery to America's Purple Heart heroes, please become part of our Sponsor a Hero team by clicking on the link in the podcast notes or by going to wwiaf.org/sponsor. That's wwiaf.org/sponsor. Our heroes need you now more than ever. Thank you.